So these are the electrodes.
Yeah, going on the head. And then this is making contact with the jelly to
Yeah,
make a contact with the head.
And this, what you put in your hand?
Yeah, this is skin resistance. That one feeds into this machine. That's a temperature probe. It goes into this machine, which is simply an electric thermometer.
Okay, and from that you deduce when the temperature is higher?
It's reflecting circulation, blood circulation to the extremities, the fingertips.
Yes.
And that reflects the activity of the hypothalamus in the limbic brain.
And when it's very cold, like?
Well, we call that the mind mirror.
Mind mirror. And it's which was created by your
My
husband?
late husband, yes. Invented it
A long time ago.
a long time ago now.
In the 70s?
Yeah, late 60s.
Late 60s.
So this is delta. If there was nothing else, just delta, I wouldn't be talking to you about it. I would be asleep. Then this is the theta.
Yes.
Then this is the alpha. This bar, we'd have it in blue, but it could be either. It just depends. You really have to look for the shape of where it goes in. If you notice, it goes in about on that line in this case. And some people's alpha might be lower than other people. And children maybe you find it's a bit lower.
Because it's deep alpha and there is...
And also how broad. Sometimes the alpha's just maybe one or two bands. Sometimes it's wider, broader. That's another thing. You might find when someone goes deeper into meditation, the frequency of this drops a bit. This image comes down on the scale. Alpha on its own is not really a normal state. It's something like maybe when you're waking up and you've opened your eyes, but you haven't really got an orientation of what's going on.
You're in between. You're not plugged in the active, and you're not totally in the...
Mind you, I haven't monitored anyone in that state. I couldn't swear that shows alpha and other things. And the important thing with the alpha really is when it's present with other things. So it's not alpha on its own. I say it doesn't mean very much, and it's not a common state for someone to be in either. Then this top part, this is the beta. The beta we associate more with externalizing expression, that sort of thing. And thinking, you might be thinking to yourself, and that's typically beta.
feeling, but not in a sense that was hypnotic. I found it very relaxing, and it was waiting for different sounds and just enjoying them as they came. It was very enjoyable. A feeling of internal space. Nothing was really disturbing, but my attention was kept. Yeah, again, it slightly reminded me of what I called the music of the seers, but the sounds that I actually heard. And one of the things about it that reminded me of that is that there were times when I was listening to it when I could feel love somehow. I saw beings of love, and then they would come in and out.
Really?
Yeah,
That's lovely.
yeah. So it was very crystalline. But that was a lovely experience, whatever it showed on there subjectively. It was a lovely experience, you know. I just totally enjoyed it. I thought, oh dear, it's come to the end.
It's not a long one, yeah. It's not a long one.
Ah.
Thank you very much.
This one is Nicky on Creation, Track 5, Cosmic Love.
halfway through the brain rhythms change. To begin with, we had a very interesting flare of theta and delta, absolutely running across the board here. And then suddenly, about halfway through, it came into balance. So I don't know what that was about. Something that was an image and something from the deep unconscious without words. So it must have been some sort of feeling or an image, and it was very, very strong. Then suddenly, after halfway through, a couple of minutes, it sort of came into balance. That was very strong.
But what it was as soon as the music started, I had this feeling of, it was almost like there were pink clouds unrolling towards me, but the word was support. Just this incredible feeling of support from the universe. Love and support. I mean, it was just instant, that's what I felt. Support is the word. It was just like the heavens opened up and came towards me with this incredibly sort of supportive cloud. And that was the whole of the first part, but it was just so surprising. I was totally surprised. And then I saw my grandmother. People often say she walks with me through the cycle. But I saw my grandmother and I felt as though I was looking at after I died.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Going back to where I came from. It was as though I was being shown what was waiting for me. But the whole process was not that. The whole process was like looking at the process of, how can I explain this? It was like I kept on being shown all this love and support and I can't explain that, the in-touchness of the other world.
Right.
And then
they're guarding or guiding.
Yeah, and that was going on, and then all of a sudden it just clicked into it again. It was like I was watching a film, sort of. But what it was as the music changed at a particular point, and I suddenly felt as though I was gradually being placed back down on the earth.
Ah, that's when
actually,
you were getting the balance.
Well, then the frequencies were lower. And for a moment I was disturbed because I felt as though I was very, very gently, so somebody was going, no, we're going to let go of you, and you actually have to step back onto the earth.
Knowing full well that you've got support.
But I was in the clouds and all of a sudden it was as though I was looking down over the Himalayas or something, right. So that very, very gradually I was shown the tops of the mountains with the snow, and I was just being encouraged to look and not be afraid. And then gradually it was like a bit like coming down in a balloon or a helicopter or something like that, and I could come closer and closer to the earth. And there was a point where my feet had to touch the ground. And I was really wondering whether that's what I wanted. And silently I was saying, don't let me go down to the bottom of this valley on my own. And it was as though this angel, whoever was with me, said, it's all right, just this once. We'll send somebody with you. And it was like a shepherd was with me or something like that, very, very gradually just leading me down to the bottom. But it was so slow so that I acclimatized. And then when I got down to the bottom, maybe when that flare came out again, this figure just turned and went back up, and I thought, I'm now stood here on my own. But not on my own, but on my own.
Yeah, that must have been that last flare I saw.
Experience.
I thought, there it goes again. That it was so distinctive.
And my grandmother came back at a particular point as well. Yeah, I could see her.
Yeah. Well, that's a lovely experience.
Yeah, it was just incredible.
And with the skin resistance, you went down to 500 K. Yeah. So that was the nervous system deeply relaxed. On both hands, it normalized and your temperature went up.
But the thing that strikes me is how instantly, within 3 seconds that the music starts, it just says something. Like that just said to me, support and love.
Yeah.
And the one before said something else, but it was within a few seconds of the vibration starting. I could feel it, what it was about, for me anyway.
And also, what I was saying to Nicky was that she'd had like a physical healing, like when we're in we used to run our meditation courses, and you could always tell when somebody had had a physical deep relaxation by the needle. When you opened your eyes after it, it moved of itself without you having to sort of breathe that needle up, showing that you'd had a new energy and vitality flowing in the nervous system. And I mentioned that to you, didn't I? So that must have been very healing at all levels.
Yeah, it was just incredible, and the music, the music was going on, and I was thinking every now and again, I wonder what's going to happen next. But it was not just what's going to happen next in the music, but what the next step in the story is. What's the point of it? You know, something. But yeah, I've never experienced in all the music I've listened to so far so clearly that when the change in music happened, something vibrational happened. I know I interpreted it in the way that I did, which was that I was literally, so somebody was holding me so carefully in their hands, and then they were just tipping their hands and saying, "No, I'm going to have to let you go." But it was very gentle. But I was afraid.
Yeah.
I was afraid for a bit until I got used to the new vibration. That was the feeling that it was like. And then I thought, no, I can handle this. Ooh. And then I got even further, and I thought, no, this is going to be an adventure. It was,
because you do look sparkly eyes.
Yeah, it was quite amazing.
This is sparkling eye music, maybe I call it now.
Yes, well, the thing about active listening is that there are elements in the music that keep you listening. So the brain is never allowed to habituate to what's going on and to switch off. So it keeps your attention, it keeps you engaged, and it seems to be that the level of change that happens when you're still awake and aware of what's going on is greater than if the music is just putting your brain to sleep in a kind of theta delta kind of state, and you don't really register and process what's going on. The thing about this music is that one's processing all the time, one's aware of processing a lot all the time, not in a way that's agitated or anything, but so it's the active listening element of this music, I think. Every track, no matter how upbeat or downbeat it is, has actually had that element in it. There's different sounds coming in from different directions all the time.
And you said that maybe that's why the beta.
That's why it might be why the beta and the alpha are able to keep in such synchrony, because they're just two parts of the sides of the process. And the beta is the attention, the auditory attention that's going on when you listen to the music, and the alpha being the relaxed state of the brain as it follows the music.
So what would be the outcome of such a?
Would be to keep people in focus and able to focus, but in a relaxed way, so they're not over focused, and they're attending to what's going on, but they're not lost in what's going on, and they're not lost in a kind of switched off state. That's how I would see it.
So you get energy out of that.
You get energy out of it, but you get relaxation at the same time.
At the same time.
Yeah.